Hey guys, it's Kelly from Cards by Christine here with you on a Monday night. This is the best way to kick off your week, to enjoy a paper pumpkin live with you. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I hope you're excited. I, as always, am excited. I love paper pumpkins, and I've been a paper pumpkin subscriber forever and ever and ever, before they were even really that cool. And I'm so excited to be here with you tonight to create the next paper pumpkin. You can see over here, we've got a fair amount of them left. So if you didn't have an opportunity to get in on your subscription and you forgot, let us know. We have some available for claim. The kit is called With Love and Gratitude, and in just a few minutes we'll dive into it and see what it's all about. Let me get my comments up in case anyone's got anything to say, as in they really want one. Hello, Randy from Southwest Michigan. Hello, Susan. Thank you so much for joining. I'm happy you guys are here already. You are like Johnny on the spot. Yeah, so I hope everyone is having a great day, a great night, great kickoff to the week. And we are excited to be making some cards. So, thank you, Susan. You are so good at always remembering that. So hit the thumbs up and please share so that everyone who loves making cards or doesn't know that they love making cards yet can join us.
And because I'm still down here.
And Chris is actually down here. She's going to be heading out in just a second. But
I'm taking these with me.
Look at these beautiful cards.
This way people can see.
So the Fun Fold cards are done and ready, and they are gorgeous. So before she scampers off, I'm going to show them to you. Registration is live, correct?
Yeah.
So go ahead and register. As soon as you see them, you're going to be like, get me signed up for that. Okay, so here we have, hi, Deanne. Okay. So this is a hard one to show to your camera, but this is a, here, let's go like this. So this is a card using, what are those nativity dies called?
A Night Divine.
A Night Divine. I love this. I just can never remember what it's called. It's got a nice little sheet of vellum back here, and then you unfold it like this, and it pops up and rests on the sentiment, and then you put a little tea light in there, and look at how beautiful that is. I am loving that. So this is one of the Fun Fold cards. I'll show you the rest of them. Look at this. This is like the Mac Daddy. It's a pinwheel card. So boom, that pops open. It's also got this beautiful like specialty finish to it. It's got some foil on it. Okay, now don't laugh at me as I try to put this back together. But
As I laugh.
it is not only a pinwheel card, it's one of those like seagull, I don't know what they're called. Seagull cards. So this is just like layered on layered on layered wonderful goodness. So this is the second card in here. Then we've got this, another Christmas card. This is more traditional, maybe? I don't know. It's beautiful, no matter what it is.
It's the St. Nick paper.
Oh, Saint.
That's why it's more
Really?
traditional.
It's the Saint Nick paper. Okay, I really like that. So, fun little diamond on this one. And then this is a really cute one. So this has a little pocket. Using these dies, it creates this pocket that you could put a Kit Kat or some sort of treatsy in.
It's kind of a grape Laffy Taffy. I just ordered them.
Oh, it's gonna have a great Laffy Taffy. Oh my God, that's so delicious. So, and this looks just so cute. This is an amazing card to send to someone for Halloween. I love it so much. So these are the 4 cards that
And I'll
you
include a
get.
tea light, a battery.
Ooh, and the tea light does come with, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
exciting. So yeah, so sign up for this class. It is live now. This is happening in October. And Chris is working on getting the stuff all set up on Facebook and the website and all that good stuff. So go find it. Go get signed up. You will not want to miss. The Fun Fold classes are always like in high demand because the cards are so cool.
And I'm making not as many as normal because we have limited time. So I'm only making 84 and not 108. Like
Okay, so normally she does 108 and she's only making 84. So if you know you want it, sign up for it sooner than later because it will sell out. I can tell you that already. Okay, so I'm going to move these to the side because she's going to steal them on me.
We are already at 61.
Okay, so hot news off the press. 61 of them are already sold, so there's not going to be a whole ton of them left. I forgot the number that we're shooting for, but there's only like 20 left, so get them. Get them now.
Thanks, Kelly.
A couple other things to rattle off while we're waiting for all of our friends to join us. Oh, they are. Aren't they so pretty? They're beautiful. So just a couple other things if you're interested. We've got our DSP sampler as well. If you've never done the DSP sampler with us, it's pretty awesome. So the DSP sampler gives you an opportunity to check out, so let's see if I can find the walk in the forest. Gives you an opportunity to check out what all the DSP looks like. It's really nice to have an opportunity to see, because, you know, Stampin' Up! Does a really great job photographing and displaying the stuff, but sometimes you don't get the right feel for the colors, especially the specialty, until it's in your hands. So it's great to be able to have it so that you know what the paper is, but then also another great thing about the DSP sampler is that you get to see what there all is. So you get to have it in your hands, you get to know what the paper actually looks like, but then you also get to see what different styles are all available in the catalog. So just showing you an idea of what it looks like when it's laid out. The other really cool thing, I don't know if you can see it from here. Hello, Mitzi. They are very user-friendly. So at the top here, you've got what DSP it is, the size, and then if it's specialty, it would tell you if it's specialty up there as well. And then all of the templates have layouts on them. So all you need is your glue or your adhesive, and you can just get them glued on there so nicely. And then on the side, so each DSP also includes a small little rectangle of the corresponding colors that are in the DSP. So handy for when you're designing or when you're using things to know what colors they use to create the cards or the cardstock. So this will just lay out like this on the side here and give you a great reference to what the DSP is made out of. So that's a DSP sampler. Let us know if that's something you are interested in. There are only 3 left at this point in time. Also, oh man, what was I just gonna say? Oh, look at how amazingly organized this is. So each of the papers come in a bag that has them already pre-cut, has everything that you need to complete this project. So it really is set up for success, and it's such a great tool. Whether you're a demonstrator or just an avid crafter, it's a great tool to have in your toolbox to help you as you're making your cards. So that is the DSP sampler. 2 other things, and then we'll probably, oh no, I forgot one piece of paper. That would have been really bad.
Somebody would have been calling me and would have been your
Someone would have been like, Chris, this is missing something. And then y'all would have watched the replay and been like, haha, it's Kelly's fault. Okay, so let's squeeze that one back in there. So another thing that Chris offers is samplers, paper shares, ribbon shares, embellishment shares, all those good things. Some of them are sold out, they've met capacity, but just to let you know, if you are interested in the ribbon share, which is one of my favorites, because again, until you get it in your hands, it's hard to appreciate, you know, exactly what it looks like or how it shines or the size of it or the material of it. This is Chris's sample.
Never been used.
It's never been used. Look at, again, so like beautifully tied up and like organized. It's great. So this is just what she created to share with you guys about what it is and how it comes. But it has never been used, and it is the only one available. So if you are interested in getting in on the ribbon share, be the first to claim it, and it's yours. Otherwise, keep it in the back of your mind for when the next catalogs come out, because it is a great thing. Then you don't need to buy, you know, $7 for that one, $8 for that one. You get a little bit of all of them. And then once you've used it all, you're like, well, I really like that one, so now I should order that one, but I don't really need any more of that one. So it's really helpful as you're paging through the catalog to not only know what the stuff is like, but then also get an idea of how you would use it and get a little sample of it. So that's that. But then the paper share is also, we still have some capacity in the registration for that one. So if you're interested, this is actually a 6x6 piece of every single sheet of paper that is available in the current mini catalog. So that's a really great offering. It helps you, again, be able to see exactly what you're getting for the different papers. It gives you a bigger sample of them than the DSP sampler. They serve two completely different purposes, but gives you an opportunity to maybe make some cards with some of these different papers and designs. And again, is an economical way to get your hands on the stuff before you decide to go all in on whatever papers you end up enjoying the most. You also get some of the memories and more and this type of stuff with it as well. So really a great opportunity to dive into the mini catalog without going all in on everything. So let's see here, 12 minutes. I think I've done enough to get you guys an opportunity. I am not a prompt person, so I always like to give people an opportunity to be running late. So I hope you guys didn't mind me rambling on for a little bit there. But let me move this off to the side so we can get some stamping done. Okay, so what do y'all think of that? Do I have a career in sales? No.
You were sharing. You weren't selling.
Yes, I was sharing. Everything. Okay, so let's see here. I put my Paper Pumpkin box off to the side. So let's check it out. So we have, it's a beautiful, like kind of custom box this time. So that's exciting. Gotta get it open. I'm opening it and seeing the contents for the first time live with you. So, I mean, this is a little nerve-wracking. We'll see what we're making, and then I have a limited opportunity to be inspired for an alternative. So hopefully it's a very inspiring kit. So funny thing, I had seen the advertisement for the kit as it was in the sales period, and I thought these were flowers, but they're not. They're pumpkins. So this is a pumpkin kit. It's a paper pumpkin. So beautiful artwork here. Ooh, green tissue paper. Okay, so Lost Lagoon is our Stampin' Spot this month. For those of you that don't know, Paper Pumpkin includes a Stampin' Spot every month, and they guarantee not to duplicate in a 12-month period. So over the course of 12 months, you will get at least 12 different colors to add to your collection, which is really great. A great way to get your ink collection broadened without much to any financial impact. So that's great. I do always share, though, that I personally do bring in a full-size stamp pad because the stamp pads that Stampin' Up! Sells is a foam pad, and it, of course, is larger. But that being said, if you do not have access to all the stamp colors and all that good stuff, there's absolutely no reason why you cannot use the Stampin' Spot that comes with the kit, because that's why it's there. These are completely inclusive kits. So you really can subscribe to Paper Pumpkin and own nothing else. Everything you need to make these projects is included in the kit. Now, the first time that you subscribe, you also get a clear block, which is great. You do only get it the first time that you subscribe. And that allows you the opportunity to use these photopolymer stamps. But again, I will always share that when I bring in a block, I do bring in a block from the catalog rather than the Paper Pumpkin block, just because it's got more rounded edges and it's a little more ergonomical on the fingers. But again, the block that comes with, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So you can go ahead and use either what you have or what comes with the kit. Now, Lost Lagoon.
No, it's over here. It's going to be over there.
It is?
Because I have my online class.
Oh,
tomorrow.
over here.
Yeah, so that's all for tomorrow. For the escape.
Okay, so here it is. I got it. All right, so I've got myself, I thought you were, now I wish I had gotten it. I would love to claim one. Okay, Cindy, I will put your name on the registration list. So that at the end of the show, we do a random number generator for a prize. So you have the opportunity to win that. Chris will, I'll put your name on a box as well, and you can coordinate with Chris, send her either an email or a text or however you normally communicate with her, and you can claim one for yourself. So let me just do that before it gets too far off my mind.
That's Cindy Roundtree.
Cindy Bassett.
Oh, Cindy Bassett. Very nice. Very
So,
nice.
yeah. I know, I literally, until the box was sitting in front of me and I was opening it live in front of you guys, I was like, I did not realize that was a pumpkin. It surely looked like a flower to me. Okay, so there are still some left, so if anyone else wants to take claim to any of them, feel free to shout it out. I'll set it aside if I see it or hear it. Otherwise, even after the live taping is done, feel free to reach out to Chris if there are any available, because who knows, you could be catching this a month from now. She can coordinate that with you. Okay, so moving on. Here we have our instructions. With love and gratitude, paper pumpkin kit. Hello, Jean from Virginia. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, so it looks like we are going to be creating two different designs. One's going to be a square mini card, and one of them is going to be a vertical open, it looks like it's just a normal size card, but it does look like oh, wait, just kidding. That's not a card, that's a little box. Oh, so cool. Look at, so this is all pre-cut and pre-scored. Also has some gold specialty on it, so very, very pretty. And the sentiment that they stamped on it is thank you. I'm sure you could fit just about anything on that label. Grateful. So what we also got in this is a pumpkin stamp. This is kind of like some foliage, and then the sentiments in here are with love and gratitude, thanks, grateful for you, thank you, and for you. So, you thought they were a morning glory flower. It definitely looks like a morning glory flower. I tend to agree with that. Okay, so I always like to give a little walkthrough of the paper pumpkin instructions. On the front shows the finished products. On the back is a lay flat of all the materials that are included. Beneath that, you will see the coordinated Stampin' Up! Colors. I always like to reference this because, especially when it comes to my alternative, I oftentimes use those colors to supplement the elements that are over here when we're making an alternative. So in this kit, we are using Copper, Clay, Crumb Cake, Lost Lagoon, Mossy Meadow, Pebbled Path, and Gold. Beautiful color scheme. I love it so much. Then also, there is some alternative inspiration that they always throw on the back here in this area. And of course, you can find more ideas online as well. Then when we open it up, you always have a running ruler along the edge. That's to help measure any ribbons or anything like that, if that is included in the kit. I don't think we have any ribbons with this one, but that's okay. And then the step-by-step just instructions, I was going to say destructions, step-by-step instructions on how to create the projects. So we are going to start with our square cards. So let's see here. It looks like we're making, whoopsies, 2, 4, 6. We have contents to make 8 each of 2 separate designs. So,
Sorry about all that stuff over there.
oh, that's okay. There's always something. Okay, so here is the card base. And and then here are the little envelopes with the beautiful details on the inside of that envelope. Love that. Okay, so first things first, we are going to fold on the score line and burnish with the bone folder to get a nice crisp fold there. And then we are going to be taking the foliage stamp on Lost Lagoon and just adding some stamped texture around 2 of the edges of this card. So now just make sure when you are doing that you Now, granted, of course, this is just kind of background texture, so it's probably not the end of the world, but make sure that your fold is on the top so that your foliage is on the correct side, that it is visible. So let's bring in our Stampin' mat. I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper because we will be stamping off the edge. Oh no, we've got, oh, that is, just kidding. Thinking out loud. Okay, so now let's grab our stamp and start with the stamping. I did not mention this, but every stamp that is included in a Paper Pumpkin kit is always guaranteed to fit on a D block because that is the size of the block that is included when you first subscribe to Paper Pumpkin. So, just kind of very thought out kit. Everything has a reason. Okay, so I do like, this is my own personal preference, but the first time I ever use a photopolymer stamp, I do always stamp it off on some clean paper just to get some of that stickiness off. I tend to feel as though it helps the ink stick better. Don't know if there's any reason to it, but it's kind of part of my stamping ritual. So you will always see me doing that as well. So we are going to ink up the stamp and then go ahead and probably about 2/3 of it on, 1/3 of it off the edge, go ahead and stamp onto that card base. I am going to ink it up again, and then this time I'm only going to really do the top half, and we're gonna put it over the bottom right corner, and then ink it up one last time. We're gonna put that on the bottom left portion of the card. Again, about 2/3 on, 1/3 off. Okay, we also, while we have our stamp pad open, are going to stamp a sentiment. All of the sentiments included on the stamp set are going to fit on that little banner, but they used with love and gratitude. So your choice, whatever you choose to use, but I will use that because that is what they chose. With love and gratitude. Okay, let's go ahead, and I always try to keep my Paper Pumpkin stamps nice and clean and put away right away because far too often either I get myself into a mess by getting ink on something that doesn't need to have ink on it, or by losing the stamp. So I've learned through practice to always clean up my stamping before I move on to the next thing. Okay, so for this project, we are going to be using the banner that has one flat end and one banner end. And our flat end is going to be to the left with the banner tails flagging to the right. Go ahead and ink up your stamp and then center it onto your banner piece. Okay, beautiful. Let's see here. Usually they give you some extra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There is one. You have one opportunity to make a bad one in your set of 8. So bear that in mind as you do it. Now, because there are 8 of them, that's a reasonable amount. You could always use the Stamparatus if that is a tool that you have, and if you struggle with centering your images and stuff like that. But otherwise, just give it your best shot. It is handmade, so if it's a little crooked or a little not quite perfect, that is absolutely okay. All right, so now that we have these done, I'm going to move my card base back in, and we're gonna start punching out some elements. So we are going to be using the double leaf and one of each of the pumpkins. This color palette is so gorgeous. I'm obsessed. And then we're also going to be using one of the die cut gold leaves. Now, there are several different, I think there's 2 different types. There's a taller sprig or a smaller, more V style sprig. And the smaller V style sprig is what we are going to be using for this particular project. These are very delicate. They're laser cut, so they're very accurate. But there's a little piece of tissue paper between to protect, because if a small little piece of this would get into the next one, they would get real tangled and snarly, and probably stand a good chance of getting kind of tore up. So that's why that's there. Okay, and then I love this about Paper Pumpkin. Every time there's an adhesive or an embellishment, they show you how they would suggest adhering. So like all of these black dots indicate a glue dot, and all of these white hexagons indicate a dimensional, both of which are included in the kit. But I always reference that I do have access to more supplies, and I am a liquid glue fanatic. So I usually bring in my own adhesive, and that is liquid glue. But again, rest assured that if you do not have access to that, or maybe you don't like liquid glue, they do provide you with the adhesives that you need to complete the kit. I'm just making a choice to use my own because I just prefer to use liquid glue. Okay, so I go ahead and put some adhesive on that, and then I will place it in the upper left-hand corner as shown in the diagram. We've got the farthest left leaf basically bordering the edge of the card, and the highest leaf basically touching the seam. I did bring it down just maybe a 1/16 of an inch as compared to their picture. I just like the look of that a little more, but again, that is my personal preference. Again, same with the leaves. I will be bringing in my liquid glue, but absolutely go ahead and use your glue dots if that is your choice. The larger leaf is going to be pointing down and on the left-hand side, and then the smaller leaf is going to be more directional to the left. So that is about where that's gonna go. This is very flexible. You can absolutely put them wherever you choose, but that is where they are showing that they belong. Okay, so next we will be adhering the pumpkins. So the larger pumpkin, the orangey looking pumpkin, is going to be using dimensionals. They included dimensionals with the kit, and they are the mini dimensionals. Again, I have my own dimensionals, so I'm going to save that as a full sheet and just peel off of my own stack. They suggest using 3. I think that is a little thin for holding this up. I'll probably use 4 or 5. They do always include extra dimensionals, so if you want to put a little more strength behind it, you can do that and you should not run out. So start with the orange flower. Oh my goodness, guys. They look like flowers. Start with the orange pumpkin. Again, I put 5 dimensionals behind it. This is gonna go basically smack dab in the middle, haha. And we appear to have the stem kind of pointing up and just a smidge to the left, and it's gonna be covering the base of the leaves. Now remember, we do have to leave just a little bit of room up here to put the sentiment. So go ahead and adhere that down. Hi, Elaine. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so happy you're here. Okay, and then the second pumpkin, you'll notice has a very unique layout of adhesive. So because the orangish pumpkin is on dimensionals, you can't put dimensionals behind the entire gray pumpkin, otherwise it will be on 2 separate levels and not sit appropriately. So we're going to be using adhesive on the, okay, so let's see here. The stem is going left-ish, so we're going to be using adhesive on this quadrant of the pumpkin, and then dimensionals on the right-hand side and the lower side. Now remember, when you flip this over, the right-hand side becomes the left-hand side, so I'm going to be putting a dimensional on this side, and then I'm going to be putting a dimensional on the bottom as well, and then I'm going to be bringing in my liquid glue or my dimensionals and putting that adhesive on what is now the left-hand side, which is now the right-hand side, which will end up going on the left. You know, not trying to make that confusing. Okay, so go ahead, peel off your dimensional backs, and then adhere that down somewhere hanging off of the orange pumpkin in the lower right-hand vicinity of the card. And then go ahead and grab your banner, and the banner is going to be adhered either with your liquid glue and or your glue dots. So give that a little adhesive, and then this is gonna get tucked above the orange pumpkin, but kind of just tucking beneath it just a smidge. And if that makes no sense, which it sure well might, or might not,
Sure, oh my God.
Chris hasn't made her way upstairs and she's enjoying this commentary. So I just tucked it just a smidge beneath the pumpkin to help with the layering, but not real much. So that's what that kind of looks like, at least for the card that I created. Then, of course, go ahead, grab your teensy little envelope. These are so adorable. I love them. Go ahead and fold your flap down, and now you've got your beautiful card. Creation number 1 is complete. So, very cool. I like that. Now we're gonna move on to the little bag. So, let's get those supplies in. Okay, now, this was 1/3 of the directions. The bag takes 2/3. So, we've got tear and tape, which is an absolutely essential tool. I stood my ground for a while and avoided tear and tape, but I, after a while, was like, no, I need to give in. I need to learn how to use tear and tape, and I did, and there was no turning back. Okay, so it appears as though the fold referenced on the first diagram is opposite of how it comes folded in the box. Sometimes I make claims like these and it doesn't quite pan out how I thought. So what I did was I scored on the other set of score lines and moved the base of the bag over to the left so the flap is on the right. Stay tuned as we make this. That might not be correct, but that is how it appears as though in the diagram. So the first thing you need to do is fold up the larger of the 2 flaps, and I would burnish it. There I went with my fingernail, but I would go ahead and bring in your bone folder and bring in your tear and tape and put a strip on the outermost portion of the non-printed side of that flap from left to right. Be careful not to get any off the edges because that could gum up the inside of your bag and kind of get stuck to other things, but you kind of want to go from left to right with as little hangover, if any, as possible. And then on the printed side, you're going to be putting a piece again on the bottom from left to right. Now keep the little waxy paper on it because we're going to flip it over, and it will be helpful to not have it sticking to things while we're doing that. So now we're flipping it over. The flap is going to move to the left-hand side, and we are going to be putting a strip along the bottom of the small flap, left to right again. And then we're going to flip it over one last time, and we are going to put 2 dimensionals on the flap to close it. So go ahead and do that. Again, I feel as though you're going to want to keep the waxy backing on these because I have a feeling you're not going to want to seal it until you have the contents ready and are ready to give it. But that's just a thought. Okay, so it appears as though that is all we had to do to create the bag. I have a feeling from here we're just going to fold on all the score lines. It doesn't really say, so hang out with me while I problem solve, and if you're not quite sure how to do your own, maybe just hang tight until I've done it. So if I make a mistake, you can learn from my mistakes. Okay, so one of the flaps is pre-folded from our adhesive, but let's go ahead and fold on the rest of the flaps score marks, and then we'll have to fold in the gusset portion as well, which will help it stand. Okay, so I got all the flaps at least burnished, and then just go ahead and fold down the top flap as well. And then now we just need to gently fold along the gussets here to help it stand in. Okay. Hi, Vicky. Thanks for watching from Arizona. Okay, so now that worked. So I'm going to show you how I did that. So I have a center fold from top to bottom going down the side. And what I did was I put my left index finger in the valley and my right index finger I used at the peak to kind of fold it forward. So the left hand is going to be holding pressure on this to kind of help guide it to fold because it doesn't really want to. Then I'm going to kind of create that peak, and then the score marks are there, but they're not super defined, so it's not just going to naturally fall there without a little coaxing. But now that I've got it started, I'm going to go ahead and crease on the side of the bag, and that's going to help it fold. And then once it's completely creased in, I'll go ahead and pinch on those folds to help them burnish. So that's what you got going on there. Now we're going to go ahead and, if I had to guess, we will put the small flaps in first, take off the tear and tape, and then fold down the large flap without adhesive. So that'll go first. So square up your box really nicely, fold in your small left and right flaps, and fold up your bottom flap, and that would be the flap without the adhesive. Now it's kind of wiggling a little bit because the tear and tape hasn't completely secured yet. So I'm gonna take one hand off and put it into the bag via the seam that's not completely closed yet, and give it a little pinch to kind of help the tear and tape find the flap. And then I'm going to tear off the large flap with the tear and tape and put that one down next. Give it a little bit of a soft burnish with your fingers. And then I will put my hand in here and really get that a nice opportunity to seal. Okay, so now your bag is assembled. Again, I would not take the dimensional backs off. That will instantly get sticky and create a mess, I would think. So I would just leave it as is for now. Now we're gonna grab our other style of banner. This banner has banner ends on both ends. And we're gonna open up our stamp pad again, and this time we are going with, again, any stamp that you so choose, but the one that they used is the Scripty Thank You font. So that's what we will do. Okay, get that centered as best as you can.
So we're up to 57. So that's 7 people that I just signed up.
For what?
Since 6
So,
o'clock.
oh my God, for fun folds? Telling you, the fun folds, right? That's what you're talking
That's
about?
fun fold.
Fun folds are flying off the shelves.
57 plus 11.
So if you missed the very beginning of this video, I took an opportunity to show off the most recently finished card designs, which is for the upcoming Fun Folds class. Fun Folds cards always are a huge hit because the designs are so intricate and the folds are always something special, and it's fun to do. Haha, Fun Folds. So if you missed that, once this video is done being live, you can watch the replay of just the beginning, because obviously you will at this point have seen all of that, but check them out. They are beautiful. Chris will be having some cover photos out any minute. Maybe she already got that done. So you can see a little sneaky peeky of what the cards look like there as well. So they are gorgeous, just a warning. Okay, so we should be done stamping for now. Of course, we'll bring that back in when we get on to the alternative, but we got that done. So now let's finish this. This thing's coming together real quick. So, okay, let's go ahead. Now we need to grab the fern, which is this one, or I don't know, foliage, something of the sort. And then we are going to grab the other type of gold laser cut image, which is the larger of the pieces. So that's that. Okay, now I'm gonna move these things off to the side before I lose them. Okay. So now we are going to
I'm done.
adhere these pieces together, which I could understand using glue dots here for sure, because this is going to be a pretty delicate glue job, but again, I'm kind of stubborn, so I'm going to go ahead and use my liquid glue because I just love liquid glue. It's my thing. But as I referenced before, it's so nice that there is a suggestion of where to place your adhesive. That's what those gray dots are, in case you were never told that or didn't quite understand that. But that is where they advise you to put your adhesive so that, you know, it should be secure enough, but at the same time, not peek out in any of the areas that you don't want to see it. Okay, so that takes care of adhering those pieces together. Then we're gonna bring our bag in, and the next portion of this is to adhere this onto the bag. Now, remember, this is going on the flap, so don't adhere it to the front of the bag. That would be not so great. So kind of flap it down, and then when we flip it over, we are going to see that the adhesive goes mainly in the upper portion, because again, this is just going on the flap. I am going to be a little more generous with the glue than they show. I do not want any chance of this falling off. So I'm not gonna go any farther south per se than they show, because I don't want it to fall off the label, or I should say the flap, but I am going to put it on all of the leaves that are in this vicinity. Okay, so now that I have that portion done, I'm gonna flip this bad boy over, and we are going to adhere it to the flap, and it looks like it's down maybe about 1/4 of an inch. And then I'm gonna just let that marinate for a second while I bring into the frame my sentiment, and I'm gonna throw on 3 mini dimensionals on the back of that, and then give that a nice little squeeze and peel off the backing. Whee! And it's flying all over the studio. My bad. And then, okay, and now it's stuck to me. Okay, so that seems to be stuck pretty nicely. This then is going to go over the base of this foliage there-ish. And then that is your completed project. So let's bring back our card, and you can look at both of the things that we created. Now, as I stated in the beginning, you have supplies included for 2 different designs to make 8 of each of these. So you can make 8 little bags, and you can make 8 mini cards. And of course they complement each other, so you could put some treats or some handmade candies, or you know, you could fit like a D-block and liquid glue in here and create a little craft kit to give to someone. That would be really cute. So I love that. This is a really versatile size bag. From what I can tell, this is a little smaller than a traditional card. So the size of this is 3.5 by 5. So very nice size. But that is what we created from our kit today. I love it. Now, I've got a couple ideas spiraling around in my head. For those of you that have followed along with Paper Pumpkin in the past, I probably sound like a broken record. I am notorious for a couple of things when I do alternatives. Oftentimes, I like to get more mileage out of our kits, so I will use the inner portion of envelopes because I always feel like the envelopes just end up in the trash, so why waste that beauty? I might do that today. And there really is no right or wrong answer to creating an alternative. Sometimes I create something that, maybe this didn't speak to you. You got this because you're a subscriber and you just don't know what to do with it because it's not really your style. So sometimes I try to, take a left turn and inspire you to do something differently with it. And sometimes when it's something like this, and this is the avenue that I think I'm going to walk down, I am going to create an alternative to doing the treat bag, because treat bags aren't for everyone. And let's say you got this and it just isn't really your cup of tea. So I'm going to see what we can make out of the supplies for the treat bag so that you can make a card instead. The reason I don't normally do something like that is because if I create a card out of this, now I'm sacrificing the ability to make that original project. But because it is a kit that is not cards, I feel okay doing it because I want to create that other alternative experience. So let's do it. Okay, and I need to get a drink of water quick because I have been talking a lot. Oh my gosh, this is the first time of the year that I am leaving. Well, I'm not leaving yet, but it's already starting to get dark out, and I am used to leaving when it is still bright out. So my goodness gracious. Okay, so I am going to bring in a piece of Lost Lagoon cardstock that is likely going to be the card base. I'm going to start butchering up this poor little envelope-y project-y thing that never stood a chance to see what we can create. And then, of course, I am going to bring in some of these elements that we are not then going to be using on the card. Now, this is such a versatile pattern. Let's say you really just aren't digging the contents. You're not a fan of these watercolor-esque looking images. You could absolutely retrofit this to have any type of focal images from any of the stamp sets that you have, stamp and die sets that you have. You could really make anything out of this with this pattern that we've got on this here. Same with the mini card as well. The background of that is very versatile. So if this is just not speaking to you, just know that there are a lot of opportunities for you to do something else with it. Okay, so I'm going to take the contents of one of the treat bags and see what we can do to create something else that is a card. So I'm going to take one of everything. Hello, Hildy. Thank you so much for joining. I'm glad you're here tonight. Okay. I feel like I'm always in need of thank you cards, so I am going to make this into a thank you card. Oh no, I dropped my dimensionals. Making a little bit of a mess tonight. My back hurts. Okay, so let's see what we can come up with here. Now, as promised, I am going to bring in one of these envelopes because I may use some of that as well, but there's a good chance I won't. We'll see. So let's peek on the inside. So this envelope, the imagery goes just on this portion. It's not on the back of this portion. So basically it is roughly 3 1/4 or 3 1/2, because if you measure it up here, yeah, that'd be about 3 1/4 if you brought that down, by 5 1/4, because I would not use the part with the adhesive on it. So I have that in my back pocket if I want to tap on it, but for now I'm planning on not using it. Okay, so let's bring in our trimmer and make a card base. Right off the bat, I'm thinking of doing a top open card, so I'm gonna cut at 4 1/4 and score at 5 1/2. So let's do that. And see where this adventure takes us. Now, if this is what you are using, let's say you don't even end up using this piece, or you use this piece but you don't have or like Lost Lagoon, you could always bring in, let's see here, Mossy Meadow, I would assume is this greener color. And you could completely take this a different direction. So that looks like that's kind of what they did there, was they brought in some Mossy Meadow. And it just looks, I don't want to say completely different, but it definitely has a different feel to it. So that's a fun idea as well. Okay, so right off the bat, I plan on using this strip with the peak. I love that element. So I am going to trim up this seam, and then I'll straighten it up with a straight cutter, but that's how I'm going to start. Okay, so if I take it top to bottom, I definitely don't need all of this. That will all be spare or waste, depending on how you want, if there's anything else you want to do with it. So I'm going to cut down this line as well. Oh, that's the score. Haha. Okay. Now we got a little bit of jagginess here, so I'm going to end up trimming both of these so that they're just nice, clean cuts. Okay, so that's one side. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm gonna clean up this side as well. Whoa, that does not appear to be very straight. So let's see here. I wonder if that tapers. It must. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and I don't want it to be visibly crooked. Now that technically should be a straight edge. So we'll trim just a smidge. Okay, well, we're gonna hope that that's straight enough at least. Oh, and then I got some not super great edges where I did the retrimming. So I'm gonna bring in, this is a mini guillotine. With a guillotine, you have more control over trimming stuff like that down. Trimming just those little like fuzzies off the side of paper. So I always like to bring in the guillotine when it comes to little, I don't want to call it a mistake, but kind of like little mistakes like that. It really helps clean up the edge. Okay. So I love what we got going on here already. I think I like it from the top down, but of course we could bring it from the bottom up as well. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go something like this. I do want another level to this, and I definitely will be using dimensionals as well. And now I'm not positive if I want this to hang down like mistletoe or to be sprouting up from the bottom. That is to be determined yet, but something like this. And then the thank you. And then I definitely am going to be bringing in some twine and some embellishments, because I definitely miss when Paper Pumpkin doesn't include that. So let's see here. The gold elements are over here. So I will find a gold embellishment, because that is definitely going to help spruce this thing up. And then I'm also gonna get a little crazy over here, so just give me a second. Obviously, there are 8 of these boxes, and you can use gold in any capacity that is available in your craft arsenal. But right now, I don't have anything available to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and trim off 1/8 of an inch off the side of this bad boy. I don't even know if I have, yeah, I think I can squeeze 1/8 off of there, to put some pizzazz on the edges of this thing. It is not going to be, I don't know if easy is the right word, but it's not going to be that easy, but I think it'll be worth it. Okay, so now I have 2 tiny little strips of gold, and I think what I'm gonna do is flip this over and put it on the same plane as this and just adhere it with a piece of just your mama's old Scotch tape. Sometimes you just can't beat the original. Okay, and I varied off the edge just a smidge. So I'm gonna peel that up just a little bit and get that a teensy bit tighter. Sorry, I gotta pull off the camera for a second so I can see with my very bad eyesight. Okay, so just going to put that on the edge there. And I do feel as though I will end up with enough that I'll have probably enough to make 2 out of this piece right here, and then a second sheet of it would allow me to probably make about 4 cards worth of, if I really like this. Yes, there is a decent amount of excess on the gold sheet that you can absolutely get some additional die cutting out of there as well, which I love when they do that. It's a little freebie. Okay, I'm gonna bring my guillotine back in and straighten that up. Boom. So I think that just really helped to elevate this project. Now I'm gonna go ahead and grab a decent amount of dimensionals because I really want this thing to stand tall on here. Where did I put my dimensionals? They're over here. And let's see, do I have big dimensionals? I have black dimensionals. I do not necessarily need to use that for these. Okay, so let's go ahead with our dimensionals and really spackle this thing up. I'm also going to use the edge. I'm just all about saving it here. I'm going to use the edge here. Not only is it some extra mileage, but it's a nice strong piece, especially where we've got, okay, so I want that to be here-ish, and so I want this to be there-ish. That'll really give some additional stability. Then I'll only have to pepper in a couple of these mini dimensionals. I definitely could have even trimmed these in half and spaced them out a little more, but it's all good. I'll just go ahead and go like this, and like that. And we'll probably call that good. That's all. That's a decent amount of support on this bad guy. I will, though, throw 2 in the middle because I don't want it to sag. Okay, so go ahead and peel that up. Okay. And flip her over. I'm gonna do my best to just hover without committing it to a spot because I don't want it to get crooked. That is a lot of dimensional to try to lift up if it's crooked. So So that looks relatively straight. And then now that it's where I want it to be, I'm gonna give it a nice firm squeeze. And then I'm going to bring my guillotine back in. Now this is going to be the way that I'm gonna cut it, but you could do it any way you want. You could trim it with a scissor, but just be careful if you are using a guillotine. A, don't cut your finger off, but B, also don't get too close and cut the card open down the seam here. But go ahead and trim that off. And now here is your new card front, and I love it. I probably would have raised it just like 1/8 of an inch. I did get a little close to the bottom. Yes, I absolutely can add Cindy Entringer. I would be happy to. Let's see here. Where did I put that list? It's way at the bottom of my messy desk, as Mary Gunn would call it, a mess. So I thought this was going to be long enough, and it's not, but obviously if I brought that up a little bit and or got a little creative about how I'm not going to throw those pieces away, but they may not be perfectly transferable to the other idea. Okay, Cindy Entringer. Great. Those of you just tuning in, there are still a few left if you are just loving this kit and want to get your hands on one. Okay, now let's go ahead and bring in. Now, I don't want this to be an absolute duplication of the card, well, the Treatsy box that we made, but I do like elements of it. I like a lot of it, actually. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do this, but I'm going to shift it a little bit. I am going to make this stamped with thanks. Oh, yeah. Where did I put all those things? Okay. I'm going to clean up for 4 seconds here so I can get my head on a little straighter. Lost Lagoon. I just need to find my stamp. You guys, you could have told me. My stamps are right there. Okay, so thank you. Grateful for you. I think I'm going to do a grateful for you. That's a nice one. Okay, I'm going to bring my block in. Okay. I feel like it might be nice to be very subtle off the edge there. I'm unconvinced. It's not changing because it's all glued down. But I'm unconvinced that if I were to do this again, I probably would stamp some texture or something on the background just to liven it up just a smidge. But we'll see. I'm not done with it yet. Maybe the subtlety of it, well, it's not even subtle, it's just cardstock. Maybe that will look really nice. We'll see. Okay, so I'm gonna take a smidgen of a break here to go get some embellishments and some twine. So hang tight, I will be right back. Okay, anyone that's familiar with the Hive knows that the embellishments are by the snacks. So that's always dangerous because now I decided I needed some Haribo Gold Bears because I love them. So we're gonna take a little treat break. Okay. I only have 3 varieties of the Baker's Can available to me, or Baker's Twine available to me at this exact moment. And I missed my opportunity to wrap it around, especially with the amount of dimensionals I put behind that. So that might not work. So I think what I'm going to do first is adhere these together. I can't really see a reason why I wouldn't end up doing that. So we're going to commit to that at least. Okay. Let that marinate for a minute. I'd be lying if I said I didn't grab 2 treats. There were peanut M&Ms too. So, we're just gonna pig out for a minute. Okay. Now, I was thinking of being creative. I don't know if I'm committed to it yet, but I saw this little piece. And I have an idea. I don't know if I like it yet, but it's an idea. I want to darken it up just a smidge, so let me go grab an ink pad. Oh, thank you so much, Shirley. I hope it turns out cute. We're almost done, but I'm not positive. Okay, so pecan pie was a coordinating color. So I'm gonna darken it up just a smidge. So to do this, I just brought it in my sponge dauber, and I'm dragging the ink over this. To give it a little, anxious to see the alternative. Oh my goodness, Linda, pressure's on. Okay, so let me close up this pecan pie so that I don't accidentally get into it. So, Linda, here's the start of the alternative. We're going somewhere. Okay. So, here's my vision. I'm gonna let you into what I'm thinking of doing. So, I think I would have liked putting the okay, maybe not. So, I think I'm gonna put it this way. I don't know if I'm gonna love it, but I just had a new idea. I'm gonna kind of go like this. I'm gonna put the Grateful for You down here. I might not be doing twine on this. And then I'm gonna treat this like a piece of ribbon. Clearly it's not. I didn't do enough of this, I don't think. But, hey, you guys, I just let you hang in there, and I feel like I'm sounding a little crazy, but okay. So I'm gonna darken this entire piece up, and then I think I'm gonna cut a strip out of the middle of this. I don't know how big. This might be too wide, but I can always trim it down. And what I'm envisioning is kind of just layering this like a piece of ribbon behind it, just to give it some texture. I don't know. I wanted to use this piece because A, it's a piece of scrap, and B, two sewn together. Okay, so Luann, that is exactly what I was planning on doing. But I'm totally going down a rogue path right now, and I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not. So I might come back to that idea. But I'm kind of just weathering and aging this piece here to put behind this, to give it some more dimension in lieu of this. I do think this is maybe a little too thick, although I'm not hating it, to be honest with you. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm kind of actually really loving this. So this is where we're gonna go with. so I think the first thing I need to do is just put this dang thing down. And we're gonna commit to it somewhere in that vicinity. Going and putting some adhesive just on the gold portion, and I had it roughly there-ish. Okay, now, my fingers are getting all brown. Okay, I'm gonna put a piece of tear and tape behind this thing, sentiment. I'm losing my mind. What am I looking for? I'm looking for tear and tape, and it's by my water bottle. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and put this in the middle. Peel that off, and then I'm gonna take this crumply weathered piece and go like that. But now I am deciding whether I want some twine. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, Hildy. Oh my goodness, you guys are loving it. Okay, maybe I'm not as crazy as I thought I was. Now I'm wondering if I want to bring some twine into it too. Okay, so now this is a really bad idea because I took the adhesive off of this already. But I feel like I want to bring some into here. So I want this, and I don't know if I want a rat's nest. I don't know if I want... So the beautiful thing about tear and tape is that I can pretty easily put this on here and take it off if I absolutely just don't like it. So I'm going to do something a little bit like this and see if I like it, and I can always take it off. But don't get me wrong, I did really enjoy this paper pumpkin kit, but I think there's a lot of added interest that dimensionals and ribbon give. So I wanted to make sure to bring some of those elements back. So added a little bit of twine, and I do really like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the top to this tear and tape sandwich, which means I'm gonna put a piece of tear and tape on top of the little, I mean, it's kind of like a rat's nest. It's not exactly a rat's nest, but the little rat's nesty thing that I just made. Simple bow under the sentiment would have been a great idea, Hildy. So for those of you that don't know, I get your comments about probably like 20 seconds after you make them. So I'm already down a different path. So thank you for sharing your great suggestion. And unfortunately, I will not be using it. I hope you guys like the twine. And of course, this is an alternative idea. You totally may hate it, and I will take no offense to that. I just hope I'm inspiring you if A, you didn't really love the treat bags, or you were looking for a different idea. Now you have one. Can at least get you headed down the right path. Okay, so tear and tape. Let's get that off the back. And get it stuck down. Now, you probably are wondering how tall was that little piece. So I ended up cutting that piece that I wrinkled about 1 1/8 inches, and I thought it was maybe gonna be too big, but I'm pretty happy with it. You could probably do 1 inch. You could probably get by with 1 1/4 inches, but this apparently is 1 1/8 inches. Okay, so I'm gonna put this down at the bottom. I'm loving this. Okay, and then I am going to see what type of gold embellishments I have, because that is really going to tie this all together. So not in that box. Okay, so these are antiqued, which is okay, but I'm looking for a true gold. I would think there's something that's truly gold. So those are brushed, which wouldn't be the worst, but I am looking for shiny if I have it. I'm not putting butterflies on it, okay? I'm gonna go so far as to say that. Or we could do the pastel sequins, which Okay, none of the options are absolutely perfect, but that is a-okay. I'm gonna go with these brushed metallic adhesive backed dots. That's my poison. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I will use 2 big ones and 3 small ones. I just don't know where. Oh, you guys. I'm digging it. Okay, spoiler alert, I suck. I'm not good at randomly placing embellishments. I could sit here and hem and haw over placement for longer than you'd like to see me struggle. So I'm gonna try not to struggle for very long, but this is not going well. There. Okay, that's not great. I'm gonna call it good enough. Thank you guys so much. I am so happy. So happy that you're loving this. I don't know if you caught in the beginning, but I literally did not see what was in this kit before I opened the box with you live. And you know, sometimes I have an opportunity to at least see other people's alternative ideas on Facebook. But I had none of that this time, and I was real anxious because I could tell that this is not my style, but it's not 100% my style. So I was really apprehensive about how the alternative was going to go, and I am incredibly proud of it. Okay, it does kind of look like a crate. You are not wrong there, Hildy. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I'm looking at the mess around me and thinking I may want to put Stella on here yet. So I'm going to try that on these leaves, and then I think I'm going to call it a day. Okay. So let's just sparkle up some of these leaves. Okay, I wondered if that was going to be overkill, but I really like it. I really, really do. The only other thing, I think if I would have, seen what it looked like before I, and did it as I was going, I probably would have put Stella on this wrinkled piece. I think that would have been the absolute tying piece, but woohoo! I love it so much. What do you guys think? And honestly, I really don't care. You can be honest with me. If it's not your cup of tea or if you really hate the wrinkled, that is a-okay. Please tell me. You're not going to hurt my feelings. That is the beauty of crafting, is everyone's got their own ideas, everyone's got their own style, and I just so happen to really like how this one turned out. Okay, so I'm gonna clean up the mess around me. While you guys catch up to me, I'm going to bring back into view all of the projects we worked on. Just gonna try to, okay, so I'm trying to keep that closed so it doesn't flap up that you can't see it. Okay. So, did you guys have a good time tonight? By a show of hands, aka just throw in the comments, did anyone craft along with me tonight? And or who do we have in the house that is a Paper Pumpkin subscriber? And if you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, let me know. Are you going to try either this alternative or a different alternative? I would love to know. Very pretty. Thank you guys so much. I'm so glad that you enjoyed this alternative because it was a ride. And again, while you guys are catching up to me, there are still a handful of additional alternative kits left. So if you are inspired by the I don't know if I said that right. Thank you so much, Carol. If you were inspired by the alternative or loved the projects or want to get your hands on one of these, reach out to Chris by any of these means of communication and she will happily set you up with, thank you so much. She will happily set you up with a kit if they are still left at the time that you claim one. Okay, got myself a little more straightened out. So let's bring back in our roll call. So thank you to everyone who is a subscriber. We really appreciate it. Those of you who were doing the paper pumpkin along with Cards by Christine, thank you, Carol. I'm glad to hear that you're a subscriber. That have purchased your kit through Chris get an opportunity to win a prize. So this month, those lovely ladies are Diana Muldoon, Katie Garbish, Barb Freund, Jolene Schrei, Lynn Beasley, Amy Ponce, Millie Kindle, Laura Wood, Linda Scott, Lori Ransom, Patricia Fleming, Millie Kindle, Brenda Crudwig, Angela, I always mess this up, Knudsen, Christine Bertram, Linnea Bertram, Cindy Bassett, and Cindy Entringer. So thank you to all 18 of those fabulous ladies for purchasing a kit. So let's do a random number generator. Dun 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 dun. Oopsies, wow. RANDOM number generator. 1 through 18, and our lucky winner is going to be number 9, which is Linda Scott. So I don't know, Linda, if you are listening along. Luann, I'm so glad. You know, I agree. I do like to do something special. So I like when the alternative ideas actually work out. It is nice then that you can bring your kit to new life. So I hope I have inspired you, Luann, to either make this card or a card like this. Well, it doesn't have to be like this, but inspired you to go on your alternative journey. I really did a bad job placing these embellishments. So let's see if I can rectify this situation. That's marginally better. Susan is a Paper Pumpkin subscriber as well. That is great. So, sorry, I kind of scuffed over this. Linda Scott was our winner of the prize. So congratulations, Linda. We will get something special heading your way. And I think that's all for tonight. I hope you had a great time. I sure did. It is always nice to check into our crafting community and make something beautiful and reconnect and just kind of check out of the crazy real world we live in for just a few minutes and check into this peaceful haven of crafting amazingness. So I hope you guys had a great time spending your Monday evening with you. And I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. So you are going to be receiving all sorts of love, sunshine, and big hugs